How are you learning to empower others to be community stewards?
I think the first way that I've done that was one-on-one, in dialogue with people over time to help them realize that they have this choice to make about stewardship, whether they want to steward, number one, their own lives, and then number two, what are the things they want to steward around them. And so a lot of it has been a personal conversation, and the benefit for me has been to learn, like, a lot of the pitfalls of this, where it breaks down, where what are the challenges. Now it's really about how do I create, the models or set experiences, or what does that look like, so that it's, again, takes me out of the equation and becomes more about that dialogue. So what I found is that getting people to examine their own mental models about this stuff is really the key way of creating stewardship. When you realize, actually, I never made the choice to be a steward. Like, was never invited into the conversation to be a steward in my own life, or into the community, or into my organization, right? That's actually where it all starts. This is what I've learned, is that literally there's this journey, and it's different from the other kind of modalities of how people go about life. And the first step is you got to assess what that is and decide if it's for you, right? Because a lot of the time, stewardship, you don't have to steward anything. I mean, you can just let other people steward. I mean, just run into the milieu of how things are structured and operated, and like work within that. And you don't have to take that responsibility on. Most people never take the responsibility of stewardship in any aspect that they truly realize, I am doing this. And I even mean like community service. Like, sure, why are you doing that community service? Because it'll look good on your resume, and that's not stewardship. That's something else. You're already thinking about how it fits into something, rather than it being a true expression of who you are and what you think needs to be given that kind of love and nurturing to let it blossom. So what I've realized is being very, very precise about what I mean by stewardship and the journey, and stewarding your journey or others' journeys, laying that out and making it as clear as I can, and then actually having them, once they've gone through this experience of knowing what it is, saying, yes, right, I want to do this. One of the learnings of this last year is that I realized, when I look back, is at some point way back in my life, even earlier than I originally thought, I had taken stewardship on in certain aspects, right? Whether it was the work or the spiritual, I took that on at certain points. And it was only when I took that on, and I don't know why I did that, because it wasn't my mom or my dad telling me. My mom was giving me an answer, right? She was giving me Catholicism. They were giving me their answers. They weren't giving me stewardship. Right. But somewhere along the way, I had this thing where I realized I have to do this for myself. And I don't think it was I don't know if it was conscious. I don't know, I can't remember a specific moment, but looking back, I know I did that. I actually took that stewardship on. And I assumed that everybody else wants to steward their journey, and that was that's a huge learning. It's like, no, they don't. So there's this invitation to stewardship. What is stewardship? What is the journey? An invitation to do it, and then if you really want to do it, great. And so how do you do that? You've got to know what it is. You've got to be able to examine what the journey is.